Yeah, I like doing it tonight because I got watching the Bells of St. Mary's and I kind of fucked around doing other things. See what this new thing is. Oh, it's a research and development weekend. It's in sales. I wonder what the promo pack is. Anyway, I want to do this and I might play a round of Overwatch and then I'm gonna go sleep. Stayed up too late. I wasn't planning on staying up this late. I had a nap earlier from about 10 until almost 2. Minnow got annoyed. She's at the very, very corner of the bed. She was up here with me. And I have a bottle of vitamin water on the bedside table. I drank some and I put the cap on. I told her I didn't trust her. And she said, plunk on my pillow. So I said, okay, you're gonna move. So I moved her slightly. And now she's gone down to the very bottom.
A genius. So handsome.
Apparently there's still some, it's a store in the snowball fight. Almost about 10 more. Yeah, I fucking am so happy. I had such a good Christmas day. Slept more like a rock than I should have, but I slept in, so I didn't do any cards today. I wanted to do some of my Christmas cards. I don't have as many this year. Last year I had more, but if anyone wants one that's a mutual, hit me up before tomorrow. For midnight on the 26th of December, Atlantic Standard Time. Because I'm not doing any cards after I leave. Once I leave the motel. Oh, did it eat? No, my chair's still there. I was like, stop telling me to go to Starbase 34. I just like skated through him. Yeah, it's too stressful to try to do cards where I live. What I hate the most is if I try to do cards, like I bring my table up in the kitchen, try to sit and do them, and like lay the stuff out on the table, and like I have a small metal table by my chair. Like I have a chair in the kitchen, and I set like stuff on that, and it's near the sink, so when I sit down they can be doing nothing, they can be watching TV, and they'll suddenly decide they need to come out and do dishes or shit like that, use the sink, because they just want to try to splash water on my cards and stuff. Or they complain that the table's in the way and they ram into it. And I used to be able to do stuff, like I used to paint, like watercolor and stuff, but I haven't been able to do that for years. I drew a picture, I was drawing a picture for a friend's birthday a little bit ago, like about a year ago, and She complained that I was wasting my time drawing, like I should be doing something else. It's like, or they'll try to like see what I'm doing. I'm on my laptop or something, so it's like, bleh. So it's annoying. It would be nice if I had a list of what holiday events were available. Or how long countdown is, but it's not showing up right now. Yeah, I'm just fucking... I just watched the Bells of St. Mary's. I had half a chicken. One of those small rotisserie chickens, you know. Minnows using... I cleaned the litter box today, too. Okay, buddy. Yeah, I bought 2 bags of the no-name scoopable unscented. I usually buy containers, but I bought 2 bags, because it was on sale. And I changed the litter boxes with that stuff a few weeks ago, and the people I live with complained that it wasn't clumping like it, just like she hated it and got mad at me that I had bought a different litter than I usually buy. Because that's the thing, like even if I clean the litter box, she has a fucking meltdown if I change the litter. And so I brought what was left with me, because I'm like, well, I'll save some money and not buy any, and I filled it, and holy shit, she was right. It is just pretty much like gravel. It does not, like, even though I have bought that same brand for my cats for so long, and I brought, like, in the Christmas trip last year, and this in September too, like I brought it and it clumped fine. Whatever was in the bag, like I don't know if it was a bad batch or if it's just different because it was in the bag or whatnot, but holy shit, it just like was gravel. I ended up dumping it here at compost. Cat litter goes in compost, so I dumped it in the compost and cleaned out the litter box. I waited till after dark so I could go outside, like, and fill it with water and like slosh it around and clean it outside. And the, like, there's a little like grass area with some trees near here.
So handsome.
So yeah, I did clean their litter box, and I had bought one because like when I filled it, I'm like, oh, that doesn't seem like much litter in that jug. I'm gonna get another one. So I'm glad I bought another one because this is like in the plastic container. It's working fine. It's the same brand. It's just and same type, like unscented, scoopable, no name. I prefer using yesterday's news, but when we're traveling, I get that because, you know, it's less mess for travel.
So handsome.
And yeah, so like, I thought she was just having a meltdown because she's done it before with like bought other litter. But holy shit, this was just, it was like, it would have been, I would have like dug out of the gravel driveway and had the same results. There's like no list of what's going on. I'm going to map. No, it's this one. Change instance. They've been drinking a lot too, which makes me happy. I bought a 4-liter jug of that reverse osmosis water that I drink myself, and because I know they'll drink it, like they don't have a problem with it, and they've drank like half of that 4-liter jug, and just like, yeah, I've dumped some of it, like I've changed the water, but mostly like when I've gone to change the water, they've had it like 3/4 empty. At least I got snowball fight shit. Yeah, tides ice is next. Yeah, it's just like
Q is a genius. So
probably didn't count my winter invasion
Don't you
now.
want an FO friend?
And also someone set off fireworks here again around 3:30 in the morning. It's just out of my line of sight that I can't see it from here unless I went outside and I probably walked like around the building or whatnot. But I just can't get over it. Like, what? Like, fuck. It's Boxing Day, for fuck's sakes. Minnow would have loved to seen them. She loves watching fireworks. This year she didn't really get to see much because nothing was held. Because Canada Day, Natal Day, and all that was cancelled because of the pandemic. Which one should I do? I've watched Crimson Cube, Black Diamond. I guess I'll do Gold Sphere this time. Hi, babes. Minnow's been playful too. Now she's gotten up and gone over with her tissue paper. Aunt Diane, their aunt, my adopted sister, she got him a catnip mouse, and she wrapped it in tissue paper, then with paper, because she knows Minnow loves tissue paper and loves shredding it. So now Minnow's got 4 pieces of tissue paper, because I gave her 3 when we got here to play with the first day. I'm like, hey, enjoy yourselves. So I've got like a mess on the floor because I left all the wrapping paper in a pile.
Assimilated snowmen are approaching the gate to the Winter Wonderland. They will arrive in 1 minute.
Hi, Tiddles. So yeah, like I've got their cat house, their pop-up house they have for travel. It's a house that, like, it's like a cube, and it's got 3 holes. And it's like, you can, it folds over and then you can flip it. It folds up into this little box. And it pops out again, like you can pop it open. So I bought them that last Christmas for Minnow, because I wanted to get her another tent, because she loves her tents. Dollarama usually has these little tents, but they didn't have any. They didn't have any tubes either. So I got her that, and this has been great for travel, because I can just have them, like when I bring them, I can just have a suitcase, pop it out.
Snowmen are coming down Crimson Cube, Gold Sphere, and Blue Lozenge Lanes. Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes.
Yeah, Black Dawn was kind of delayed.
Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes.
So yeah, I got like tissue paper, a grocery bag. So I went grocery shopping for like a paper grocery bag, you know. Because here they ban single-use plastic grocery bags. So I got a big paper grocery bag. And tissue paper, folding totes, their new toy, bunch of wrapping paper, because I left all the wrapping paper open and stuff on the floor. And,
snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes!
transport turret.
Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes!
I haven't figured out the sweet spot of when I could put it and get two.
Your boreal and temperature distinctness will be added to our bone.
Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes! Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes!
We're pretty much all grouped up here.
Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes!
Oh, I got knocked off. Yeah, so it's like a mess. Last year I felt bad. I had to get the woman to bring me
Snowmen are coming down all
compost
4
bags.
lanes!
I brought little ones, but I didn't account for how much I would need. I needed the big one, so I got a big one delivered.
Snowmen are coming down all 4
This year there's not even
lanes!
anyone at the office. Like last year there was someone that stayed in the office just for if someone needed something like towels or whatnot. But there was no, like, you know, you couldn't use, like, the
Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes!
computer to print or fax stuff, like, they had, like, you know, courtesy, like, printer and fax and whatnot for people. But, and no breakfast or anything, because there was, like, no staff, because of Christmas, so when I came in September, because of the pandemic, like,
Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes!
it was, you know, it didn't really matter that there was nothing to use, because you can't.
Snowmen are coming down all 4 lanes! Snowmen are coming down all 4
That poor
lanes!
turret is gonna get, like, shredded now.
This is the winter of your discontent.
Snowmen are coming down Crimson Cube, Gold Sphere, and Blue Lozenge lanes! Snowmen are coming down Crimson Cube and Blue Lozenge lanes!
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Snowmen are coming down Black Diamond, Crimson Cube, and Blue Lozenge lanes.
We got blue gold sphere under control, fuckers. Yeah, felt like I had to move like all that paper stuff last year. I had more presents last year. This year I didn't have as much. I had more stuff for the cat, so I had 2 Christmas presents for
Snowmen
me.
are coming down Crimson Cube and Blue Lozenge lanes.
And 2 birthday presents I brought that I hadn't opened on my birthday. And then the rest was for the cat.
Snowmen
So
are coming down Crimson Cube and Blue Lozenge lanes.
there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the cats. 2 for me and 5 for the cats.
Snowmen are coming down Black Diamond, Crimson Cube, and Blue Lozenge lanes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go repair this while I'm waiting for my lane to get.
Snowmen are coming down Crimson Cube and Blue Lozenge lanes. Snowmen are coming down Black Diamond, Crimson Cube, and Blue Lozenge lanes.
My lane's open.
Snowmen are coming down Black Diamond, Crimson Cube, and Blue Lozenge lanes.
The only history lower temperature for all species.
Snowmen are coming down Crimson Cube and Blue Lozenge lanes.
Is there a
Snowmen
line
are coming down Crimson Cube and Blue Lozenge lanes.
like just for Black Diamond and like Crimson Cube or something like? 'Cause
Snowmen are coming down Black Diamond, Crimson Cube, and Blue Lozenge lanes.
how'd they go down already?
Resistance is futile.
Oh, we got the Borg Queen already.
Snowmen are coming down Crimson Cube and Blue Lozenge lanes.
I fell off the bridge.
Snowmen are coming down Black Diamond, Crimson Cube, and Blue Lozenge lanes. Snowmen are coming down Blue Lozenge lane.
Okay, yeah. This last night it didn't do the whole, you know. Q's message didn't pop up, it just kind of was stuck there. Yeah, I had a good Christmas. Really good Christmas. Should be asleep, but I watched a lot of Lifetime, Hallmark movies today. I had put it on that channel because Murder, She Wrote was on, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll fall asleep. But I didn't get to watch it because I fell asleep during it.
Today is a good day to cry.
Like I pretty much got to the opening credits, and then I just went like out.
Great grandbaby will grace us with his presence.
So it was left on, and today was like a 24 hours of Christmas movie marathon on there.
Head towards the lake.
Oh, I hate fighting him on the lake. He's so slippery. Wait till he spawns, then I'll pop my... But yeah, some of them are very convoluted. Like, they try to cram so much stuff into it.
You have been naughty this year.
There he is. I was like, I can't see him. I saw his coal throw him, but I didn't see him. I hate fighting him on the ice. I must get this person's present when he opens it. Oh. Yeah, like, one I watched was about a woman that, like, I watched it because it was on when I first woke up, and I was like, I thought it was going to be like a queer one, because they advertise some, like, you know, like, and so, because she met this woman when she came into town, and, you know, like, this woman shared a lot about her past, and they got, like, and then, like, about a quarter of the movie, and she met this guy at a hardware store, so it's like, okay, yeah, I guess that's the love interest. But yeah, she was hired by, she had taken like got in like a master's and stuff in library sciences and stuff, and she was all, I can't even remember the name of it. But yeah, she was, had taken, like, gotten a degree, and she was offered this job at this city library. So she moved city and bought this, like, fixer-upper house for really cheap. And then she was like, when she showed up, like, oh yeah, we did a hiring freeze, and we're not hiring actually after all. The city's cut things. So she ended up going to all these other places and asking about jobs and stuff, and everyone was like, yeah, we're not hiring because, you know, like, there's no money to pay people, and we only do volunteers. And she's like, well, I've got experience, I can, you know, the credentials, I shouldn't have to work as a volunteer. And it's like, yeah. So she, helped us, like, some kids find books that they wanted, and, so she decided to ask if, like this library, and they're like, yeah, like, and she offered to do, like, a kids program or whatnot, and they're like, we really can't afford it, so she's like, I'll do it for free, for a trial basis, and, like, we'll see. I don't want to do, like, because my reason for wanting to be a librarian, you know, is because I want to, like, because books were really important to me when I was little, and I got sick of sack. but because they were trying to, the librarian that was there was like, you know, a lot of people use their library science degrees for like data and stuff, like, cause, you know, good for collective access and stuff. So like, you know, why don't you do that? And I gotta put this back again.
You have been naughty this year. No! Not yet! There are still naughty children!
So they're like, okay, yeah, you can do it. So she started getting really popular, like, and hanging out with that woman when I had the kids, and, you know, and they decided to take, like, books to one of the girls' grandmothers, because, like, she couldn't get out and about, and then she got... But then after her, like, trial was, like, the city cut funding again, and they're like, oh yeah, you can't, we can't keep you on, so she got the idea to start, like, a bookmobile service for, like, servicing, like, senior homes and people that can't get out and about, because there was none in the area, and, like, so she, was starting to apply for funding and stuff with that, and all the while hanging out with that woman with the kids, and the woman had like a fainting spell, and she went back to the doctor and found out she had cancer again, because she had had cancer previously, and it had come back, and so she was getting stressed, like, what if I can't beat it this time, like, who will take care of my kids? And it turned out that the librarian woman was had been a foster kid. Her parents had surrendered her, and she had like this, like, had left her with this elf ornament, and so she and her first foster family was really nice, and I'd give her a special ornament every year, and then they lost their jobs and had to, like, couldn't afford to do fostering anymore, so she was put back in the system, and so she agreed to take the girls if something happened to their mother, because, you know, she didn't want that to happen to them, what happened to her, and so they had this, like, lawyer meeting and everything, and all the while, like, she was fixing up her house, because, like, you know, she had already had experience with some, like, renovation projects and stuff, and, she went to the hardware store and was like, I need this, like, I don't know what's in my budget, but, like, you know, like, because she had made a list of, like, everything that needed to be done, like, just to make it livable. So that's where she met this guy that was a contractor, and it's like, oh shit, he's the love interest, like, I guess he's not going to be queer after all.
Good for business.
And, so yeah, they got talking and everything, and it turned out, like, that her house was well known as, like, one that needed, like, a lot of work. So, like, oh yeah, we'll see you here a lot. And she was like, oh, do you work here? This isn't glowing. I don't know if I can join it or not, but yeah, so she's like, and he's like, no, I'm just a contractor, but I'm here a lot. So she got talking to him too, and it turned out that he really wanted to sell custom-made furniture and stuff, but he worked as, like, a contractor to make money, and his father and mother owned, like, a chain of car dealerships, and they kept pushing him to expand his business, and he got offered a contract with the city, and he didn't want to really take it because he's like, you know, I won't have time for my rest of my stuff, like my hobby. And he had started selling, like, people I started buying his stuff and things. He's like, I want to focus on this and do like, you know, my main contracting, you know, for money, but then but if I take the city job, I won't be able to do that. So, yeah, this is what I mean. It's just a bunch of stuff crammed together. So, then they decided that, yeah, her name was like Melanie Nape or something, or Knop, the librarian woman, and they decided that she was a good candidate for guardianship, but they wanted to do a house visit, and it's like,
The snowmen aren't taking too kindly to
hello, person. I'm just explaining one of the Lifetime movies I watched today. Oh, it's just a fucking follower, like, selling spam bullshit. But yeah, so I was... And it's like, well, why are you rushing to do this when you don't even know if it's, you know, if this woman's gonna die or not, like, because you just got found at the news. So they, decide that, oh, they're going to do a house visit right after Christmas. And the house was definitely, you know, it was livable, but it wasn't up to code and everything, and there was like no finished bedrooms or anything. So she's panicking, and she decided that, well, she's going to have to actually take that data science job and give up on the bookmobile dream and being a librarian. She'll just have to, like, do it later if she can, but right now her focus was on getting the house ready and affording the girls and things. Oh. Yeah, I want to do the Winter Invasion instead. Fuck that. But yeah, so... so she got into a fight with the guy, because the guy had gotten into a fight with his dad about, you know, how he didn't want to expand and keep working, and he wanted to do his business, and his dad, like, insulted it, and like that it was just foolish, and his furniture was crap, and, you know, whatnot. So he had been like, I'm going to pursue my dream, and I stood up to my dad, and then he got really upset with her because that she was like, I'm gonna have to give up all my dreams. And so they had a fight, you know, like the cliche, you know.
Welcome to the gingerbread colony! You've arrived just in time. The sugar-hating snowmen are on their way. Several members of our town council are still trapped in the village. If you could rescue them, snowballs and...
Anyway, yeah, so they, his father came, to visit him, and, he saw that the furniture that he had made, and he's like, oh, actually, you know, this is really nice, like, holy shit. And he asked what, like, you know, what was going on with his relationship with Melanie, and he's like, oh god, it's fucking trouble. Oh my god.
You saved a freezing gingerbread man!
Yeah, laugh at me, fuckers.
Wonderful!
Because I'm unfrozen, you're getting fucked up. Yeah. So, and so he told his dad, like, you know, like, this is what's going on, and he's like, oh shit, like, she's prepared to take these kids on and everything, and, you know, like, so, the kids, like, the girls, Holly and Ivy, you know, cliche Christmas names of the woman's kids, and, you know, eventually, like, got them back together, and he showed up at her house because she was just scrambling to try to get the place done, and with a bunch of people, and they all worked together and picked out wall colors for the girls' bedrooms if they needed it, and all that shit. And they went sledding and made ornaments at the guy's workshop and everything, and like the mother involved and everything, and like had Christmas dinner, and like it was all nice. And then it was Christmas Eve, and then the son's, like the guy, contractor guy's parents showed up, and they decided that they were going to donate a fancy van so she could have the bookmobile, so she wouldn't have to worry about, you know, because they got the house fixed up for free, so, you know, she didn't have to take the data science job. And, so, and he agreed to make,
You dare enter my home? I'll destroy you all!
yeah, I did that. Fucking up your house. Really glitchy too, really run really skippy. Yeah, could build like shelves for it and stuff, and they were going to, like, the Yeti's not even mentioned, like, it's like, they're not saved from, he's just mind his own fucking business. But who knows what this fucking gingerbread people are probably like exploiting him for rent or something. So yeah, they had like a really good Christmas, and she started her bookmobile stuff, and like getting like doing like community outreach and stuff, like doing like people could sponsor books and get their name like on the book plate inside them, or they could like do a wish list for a kid. And like then it cut to a year later at the adoption hearing, because apparently the mother had died and the son had gone. So they so they did like the adoption hearing, and it had turned out to been like her explain the story of how, you know, like Christmas had gone. Like,
The Snowconian has been hurt.
and why it
Give
meant
more
so
surge
much
help it
to
heal. Woe is me. Another building lost to the
like
Overlord.
the girls meant to her and everything, and how like so, and how she had like a stable house and all that shit. So
Another building frozen. Revenge, it seems, is a dish best served cold. That did it! The Snowconian is back in the fight!
So the adoption was approved, and they went. He decided that he was going to propose to her, and like the girl was like, whatnot, you know, happily ever after, whatnot. But like, it couldn't just be one thing. Like, you know, this woman, like, they had to convolute so many things, you know, like that. Like the house repairs, and that she was a librarian, and that she had to, you know, decide between her dream or making money, and the guy, like the contractor guy with
Another
his...
frozen building? Ugh, we're running out of buildings here.
with his problem with his parents, and the, you know, like the fixer-upper house, and you know, and then the mother getting sick, and having to, like, the bookmobile project, and like the adoptions and stuff, and like how she was a foster kid that had, like, you know, elf ornaments and shit.
The Snow Overlord is leaving. That did it. The Snowconian is back in the fight.
So much shaved ice. So I got shaved ice from... so yeah, like that was one of them I watched. Another one was, it was about a journalist that had this, like, a Vice column. She had been a therapist, and she had moved from California to New York and started this Vice column, and she was, like, well received and everything, and
congratulations, Captain.
I can't read that. Reinforcements objective. Reports I'm receiving about the USS Rikita are exceptional, Captain. And I believe that Starfleet's finest ship. Commander should have the Federation's best duty officers to support them. I'm authorized Captain Jarrell to give me a special recruit. I am confident it will serve you well. A rare. I can't read that from here. Something duty officer. Special duty officer cannot be traded, and if dismissed or removed from your roster, cannot be resummoned. So I get a super rare duty officer. Yeah, so she and her friend were like gonna do this great Christmas thing, and they had these great jobs and everything. They were so happy together, and then they went to this Christmas party, and turned out their editor of the paper they worked for was retiring, was being made to retire, and she met the guy, the replacement guy, but he didn't introduce himself. He had ripped her dress by stepping on the train of it, and offered to pay her, and she's like, no. no big deal, and didn't want to make it a big fuss because this guy was like, I'm gonna have to retire. So they made the night about the previous editor, and then the next day they showed up for work, and so many people were packing up their stuff because they had gotten laid off, and so she got called into the guy's office. She's like, oh shit, and it turned out to be the guy that had ruined her dress, and he's like, yeah, we're going to, you know, we gotta cut the fat, and your advice column's just frivolous, and, you know, there's no point in having, because we gotta have other, like, I've been tasked to make cuts and stuff and keep the bottom line up and all this shit. So he was really, really rude to her and her column and fired her. So she decided that she, like, they gave, she had, like, negotiated. She's like, can I at least write a farewell column? And they're like, yeah, I guess you can do a farewell column. And then so she wrote a farewell column and then decided that she was going to go back home for a bit for the holidays because, you know, the trip that she had planned with her best friend now wasn't going to happen because, you know, she couldn't afford it. They were going to go to Aspen. And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life now. Like, I'm going to just take a break and then look for work. And her friends hadn't gotten fired, so... And she's like, yeah, you should go try to find a date. Like, you go by yourself, you might find someone, because he was the gay best friend, you know. So, she went home with her sister. Her sister runs a bakery, and worked for the bakery, and then she got...
I have winter items for a bargain.
I have another branch officer option. Human engineering officer, candidate, Sarian science officer, Sarian tactical one, human engineering officer, okay. I don't have to choose a human engineering because I got one. We got Emmanuel. Look at that hairdo.
A wise man can hear profit in the wind.
So yeah, she went home and she started doing it. She got offered to write a column in their like areas paper because she was trying to set up her sister with the guy who runs the paper. With her sister. Husband had died and she hadn't dated anyone for years and years and years, and she, you know, but her and this guy had, you know, this whole flirting and will they won't they, but, you know, he didn't want to, you know, if she wasn't ready to ask her out, and she didn't, you know, feel like betraying her husband. She's like, her deceased husband was her person, and she had this daughter, and, you know, she... So... Oh, what the fuck was her name? It was like something K, or Key, or something like... it was like KK, like, that was her name. Like, it was like... Kelly Key or Keen or something like that. Anyway, she did the paper, like she was debating it, and she's like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll just do a special feature for Christmas, and because I'm going to go back to New York and look for work, but I just wanted to, you know, take a break for a bit.
I have winter
But it turned out,
for a bargain.
when she wrote her farewell column, it got a shitload of response. Apparently she was more, like, loved than they thought, and it was getting like an uproar, like people were boycotting it and stuff. There was like this whole campaign, you know, like,
Don't you want an Epo
you got rid
friend?
of this person that, like, you know, we look forward to, and that's actually like helped us with our lives and stuff. And yeah, and so it was like just taking a picture of the sky. And so the guy who owns the paper was like, called the new editor up and was like, look, you gotta get her back. Like, you gotta get her back, because, like, we need to get her back, because this is, like, we're losing more money by having fired her than, you know, keeping her on, and, like, we need to keep our subscribers. So he tried calling her, and she's like, fuck you, you're not my boss anymore, and didn't, like, days and days of ignoring his calls, and, like, emails, and, like, deleting them, and, you know, she's like, you know, I'm not, you know, can't tell you what to do, like, fuck off, like, I'm taking Christmas break to myself, which is understandable, you know. Especially after how fucking rude he was to her. So she didn't answer. And yeah, we're not doing the races. We're just on the racetrack, but we're not doing it. Want to do Klingon ice fishing. I'm just waiting 5 minutes for that. I think that's probably my favorite event. So yeah, the guy decided that he was going to fly out there and try to beg her to come back in person, because the boss was like told him plainly, either you get her back or you're fired, because, you know, we're losing a shitload of money for having fired her. And so he went there and he was like, I'm going to stay one day, like, and tracked her down and offered her the job. I actually told him to stuff it, like, because she was going to write that piece for the local paper, like, and then she decided that she was going to turn it into like interactive events, like do a whole series of articles instead of just one, and then like have like an event for each like article, like different things. Like one was like get out of your comfort zone, so she had like a, you know, a mixer, or like you know, like had like an ice skating day, or like one was about calm reflection, and so she had like a meeting at this tree farm, and that like they could walk through the forest and get like hot chocolate and pick out a tree and stuff, and like have like, you know, enjoy like the trees and stuff, and like how there was like this scientific article about getting out in nature and stuff. And so she was, you know, like doing these little events and planning to have like a snowball dance thing at the end. Like, it was how to better yourself, and better, like, how Christmas didn't have to be this fucking bullshit thing, like how you could just like take time for yourself, or like work on your relationships, or connect with people and all this shit. So it and then this guy was like, oh shit, like I gotta get her back. So he started like participating in her events, and then he's like, he had this realization, you know, like, oh hey, actually, you know, like, I get it, like, it wasn't this frivolous stuff. Like how this dog's like, you know, just cram my butt in your face like a cat. So, but then, her ex, like, she had been engaged to this guy, apparently, and they broke up because he wanted to be a Doctors Without Borders and work in Haiti, and he expected her to, like, at the time she was working as a therapist, and like drop her practice, leave her family, and move with them. Like, didn't even like ask her about it or anything. Had just taken the job and was like, "Oh yeah, you'll just come with me." And she's like, "Look, I have my whole life." Like, so that broken engagement is why she was like decided to move to New York with her best friend. Reminds me kind of the Friday the 13th dances that she's doing. So yeah, she moved, and that's why she started the advice column, because she's like, I gotta work on myself, so I'll help other people work on themselves. So he showed up back, and he had been offered a job in the town, like city, as like family practice doctor, like a long-term contract, you know. And he tried to get back with her, like, he's like, you know, I realized when I left, like, I blamed you for, you know, not coming with me, but then I realized, you know, like, I had asked so much of you, and it wasn't fair to you, and, you know, now I'm like, I'm coming back, and, like, want to reconnect and stuff, and she's kind of like, I don't really, you know, like, want to get back with you, and so her sister was trying to set her up between the editor guy and the ex, like, because you know how it is, you know, you have to be dating. Can't just work on yourself, you have to find love too in these movies. And so her sister kept inviting both of them to like things, and she was starting to like fall for the editor guy, because she's like, you know, hey, actually, you know, I guess like you're not as bad as I thought you were, and like you had a shitty childhood. I forgot I upgraded my... I was hoping my turret would help me with this. What if this improves my chances of getting bigger fish? Yeah, so she's like seriously debating going back to work. Oh, we get a lot of those big fish. And then, turned out that the boss guy, like the chief guy, was like pressuring him like to make articles like once a week and make actual hired like columnist freelancers instead, and one of them was the entertainment writer who was her friend, and he got, you know, cut to one article a week, and freelance, and he's like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent, so he canceled his vacation, and she paid for him to come stay with her over the holidays, because they were like, well, we're both down in our luck, we'll just go enjoy ourselves. So, but he didn't tell, like, he didn't know that they were friends, so he was like, oh shit, I gotta, like, he tried to tell her that, you know, oh hey, yeah, I fired him, I didn't know you were friends, and he showed up before he could. And Like, that should be enough for the gosh curry.
The Koskari has been mated! Prepare for battle!
So they had the big fight, you know, like thinking, you know, that this was all really because of ulterior motives, and, you know, that he really hadn't changed because he had fired all these people at Christmas. And, you know, so they had this idea to do, like, a cocktail party, her and her friend, as part of, like, the... And all the while she was setting people up, like... her friend with the bartender, who was actually, like, they didn't really know each other that well in school, like, they'd gone to high school together, and, like, but it was really, he just didn't know who he was, and he took time to find himself, and he came out of the closet and everything, and, you know, he became a pilot as well as running the bar, because he, you know, he really always wanted to be a pilot, and he had taken, like, the bar to afford it. So he made, like, weekly charter plane trips cross country. At least this time it actually fucking loaded. The monstrous fish. So yeah, her best friend and the bartender started dating, and she also set up one of her old teachers with the woman who ran the inn. And the woman who ran the inn had, like, witnessed, like, all these phone calls that he had with the boss, and, like, the paperwork he was doing, like, how struggling the editor guy was doing, like, because he was staying at her inn. And, yeah, this must improve getting monstrous or bigger fish. Because I've got 2 monstrous. I've got quite a few large ones too. I'm still getting small fish and stuff, but I'm getting a lot more than. Oh, how I fucked up my camera distance. There we go. That's probably why it's not loading the monstrous fish well, because I had the camera so close to me. But, so yeah, she had set the innkeeper with one of her previous teachers who had just retired, that they met at, like, the mixer, and they went on a date at the cocktail party. I'm gonna get long, aren't I? Yeah. Yeah, someone said crouching helps, but it doesn't seem to help, so I'm just not gonna bother with it. So she decided that to work on her novel, she was like, I'm gonna... Because meeting with her previous teacher, he had talked about, like, how she used to do creative writing, and he's like, I knew you'd be a writer, but I thought you'd actually, you know, wouldn't be doing just articles, you'd be doing, like, books, like, best-selling novels and stuff. So she's like, so she decided to start working on her novel, and she And that's one of the things that made me, like, they were trying to show, like, the progression of time. But she had the same pajamas on in each clip. They were trying to, like, show, like, that she had worked on it for a while, and it's like, you know, she's washing them. So I wore pajamas for 2 weeks straight, you know. So this whole time, like, she was setting up her sister and, like, setting up other people and writing her novel, and she managed to patch things up with the help of, like, the innkeeper and stuff, like, with the editor guy, and she was like, and she convinced her ex-fiance to go back to Haiti. She's like, you know, it won't be happy, like, and, like, I really, you know, you would resent me, and I would probably resent you. So she decided she was gonna go back, and, like, so, back to her apartment and stuff, and the guy, she showed her novel to, the editor guy, and he decided to capitalize on it. Like, he, you know, it was well-meaning, you know, I'm gonna help you out, like, this girl I really like, and I can actually help her, so I'm gonna use my connections to help her. But she took it as, you know, like, using her to keep his job and, like, make money. So, like, because he, like, even talked to, like, the owner of the paper, is like, yeah, like, you can come back and, like, we'll syndicate your column and we'll sell your book, and, you know, and so she decided that no, she was actually going to go back and clean out her apartment and move back to the town that she was in. And the editor guy was so upset that he decided that he was going to quit his job and pursue what he wanted to do. Like, he wanted to be a journalist, and he had gotten into, like, management because of his father, and, you know, he was tired of dealing with, like, the bottom line stuff and making money, and he wanted to, like, work on how he saw the world and stuff. And so the best friend and the bartender slash pilot decided that they were going to, like, where he had to do so many cross-country flights, they were going to actually, you know, start dating, and, you know, so, you know, everyone was happy, and she was like, I guess I'll move back home instead of moving back to the city, and, I'll work at this local paper and write my novels myself, and, you know, and then she found out that the editor guy had quit, and, so she realized that he was actually serious with what he was doing, so they made up, and, he managed to get, her and her friend hired back, and, like, you know, help with HR and stuff to, like, you know, not lay off people at Christmas time, and, you know, that he was, you know, like, he was gonna work on himself, like, and she was gonna be able to continue helping people, and, you know, I kind of missed part of it, because I decided to have, like, the commercials were so long in between segments like, I'd say there was probably 5 minutes of commercials in between, so I was like, I'll have a shower. And I ended up taking longer to shower than I planned on. Like, I planned just having, you know, like a wake up and get, you know, refreshed shower before I get dressed. And, I ended up having a long, hot one. So I missed, like, how everything worked out, but it was like so much needless things. Like, why throw this fiance in, like, this rivalry and stuff? Like, I already had enough conflict, like, with, you know, was he serious? Like, the editor guy, was he serious, or was he just being a dick? Like, manipulative to try to keep his job and make money, or was he actually, you know... And no, they had to bring this ex-fiance who had broken her heart, and because he wanted to be the selfless doctor, and he didn't respect her choice, like, her life, and then he changed his mind, and he was, like, ready to settle down. And all these, like, side romance stuff. I don't know how I keep fucking up the camera cycle. I guess we've done all we can. But yeah, like, I like the best friend character the best. I like the pilot guy, because he was like the barter/pilot. Because he just was so, like, he knew what he wanted out of life. He was just like, yeah, like, you know, I've come to peace with who I am, and I'm just gonna, you know, do what I want to do, and, like... But, yeah, there was another one I watched about this, woman who did world news. And, her family was like a Navy family, and, her sis, like, she was in this shitty...
Will grace us with his presence soon.
Kind of like, you know, we're just together because that's all, like, you know, like, it was this, like, you know, convenient relationship with this one of her co-workers. And like, so she decided to end things. 'Cause, you know, like, there was no, you know, like, enjoyment or whatnot. It was just like...
You have been naughty this year.
Do you have a delightful treat to try?
There we go. Oh, shut up, Felix. You just sound like you're prepositioning me. Or expecting me to sell you drugs or something. So yeah, she decided to take up her sister's offer because there was like this family tiger cruise thing that I don't know much about it because, you know, I'm not American. But like a singles mixer thing, like holiday cruise for military, whatnot. It was like a enjoyment thing. So, her sister invited her on it. She's like, you know what, like, this isn't working with my boyfriend, like,
Do you have a delightful treat to try?
you know, I don't really love him, I'm just with him because I don't know where he's gone. I hear him yelling, so... Oh, lovely. Probably gonna get put in the sack again. Standing here trying to open this present. Is my turret even attacking him? Okay, there he goes. Hi, Nick. So yeah, she went on it like an old family friend that had known her father. Her father had died during a training exercise, and like his son was there, and she thought he was dating another officer, but it turned out that, you know, they weren't. They were just like adopted siblings. And her sister was like trying to get her to date this guy, and her sister was in the Navy, and he really didn't like Christmas. And so they, so he was like, you know, like, she was like, I'm gonna, he had found this journal and he showed it to her, like, that someone that had been on one of the Tiger Cruises had written. And, she was like, oh, I can actually write a story from this. So she called her boss and was like, hey, you know, I think I can write this feature story for Christmas, like about the soldier who fell in love with this dancer on the first ever Tiger Cruise, and they found like an ornament he made her, and so her and he decided to help her, the officer guy, and like he did aircraft carrier things with the Navy, and something like that. So yeah, he decided to help her, and all the time, like, he was, like, they talked about, like, you know, how great her dad was and stuff, and like, you know, like he used to send him presents too, and like when he was traveling, and like, you know, and she showed him how to enjoy Christmas again, and like have fun, and all the while looking for this like information on this couple that like, and they found out like this couple had like, he tracked her down where she like was performing, because she had been hired to perform for the cruise, and then tracked her down to the studio, and they met up, but she had been in a relationship, and they lost like track of who it was, so they...
The magnificent Cranberry may be gone for now, but he will return. His tenacity.
So, all the while they were like stopping at different stops along with the cruise, and like getting closer, and
wondering how well everyone
every stop, like every time like they thought they'd got a lead, it like went cold with the couple, because like he had gone to Vietnam, and he got missing in action, and then there was a fire at the record house, so they couldn't find the information, and they were going to try to get information like from his service records, what they could find, but they couldn't find it, and where she wasn't family, they wouldn't look it up. But then it turned out he had gotten a medal, so he was an exception that anyone could get information on him, because he was a notable person, and they couldn't find information on him, so they managed to track down a restaurant he had owned, because it was like the same name as his plane that he had, and they found his granddaughter, and like she'd like told them where they, like the nursing home that they had been to, and she called nursing home, and it's like, oh, you know, they moved out and we don't have any information on them now. And so, and then she managed to find a wedding announcement, and it turned out that his name had been spelt wrong on the original military records, and then once there was the fire and he had been found and come back home, they had corrected it. Like, instead of being William, it was Williams. So she managed to find them, like where they were living, and they were still together, and like they were like so in love, and she returned the ornament and everything. It was like this. So she got her story and everything, and all the while she was debating, you know, like being in a relationship with the guy. And but she's like, I don't know if I can do the military wife business or like girlfriend, the traveling and stuff. And so she was like, I don't know. So they she decided that no, she wasn't going to do it. Like, she couldn't do it. So she was all set to go back to her job and whatnot. And then her mom had a conversation about how, like, she had originally broke off her engagement to the girl's father, and then they had a big break, and then they were like, she decided that no, so she flew to where he was and proposed to him again. And she's like, yeah, it's a big thing, but you know, I realized it was worth it. And so she wrote her story, and she decided, like, you know, hey, I kind of want to try this. And so she called the guy, and he wouldn't answer. So then his father showed her the story she had written, and it's like, oh, yeah. So they got in contact again and decided to start dating. And meanwhile, when she went back to her job, she's like, I'm going to take the military beat so that I can travel, and like tell these stories. And so yeah, that was one of them. But then there was another one that I kind of half watched. It was about a woman with the Vienna Orchestra, or applying to a position in it, and she was there, and she ended up getting involved with the ambassador, like, and turned out his wife had died, and he had these 3 kids, and like he had been moving them between different locations, and they weren't happy. They wanted to stay where they were, and like she wasn't sure she wanted to still be in the orchestra. And it was just like, so she got into a fight with them about the kids. Like, they went on these dates and everything. It was like, all, you know, like learning to, you know, this grumpy old widower and whatnot. And then he got an offer for a job, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll take the job. And she got into a fight with him, you know, but like the kids had decided they wanted to stay where they were. And the girl had, like, was into music and stuff, so she like one of the daughters, and so it reignited the woman's love of the violin. And yeah, and then they managed to, like, even his assistant was like told the guy, like, you know, like, the woman was right, like, she was, you know, it's really not fair for the kids. Like, you can do it for your career, but, you know, like, I agree, you know, like, it's really, you know, to keep moving them around when they've been at this place the longest, and they consider it home. Like, you know, your job's pretty good and stable, like, you know, make up your mind. So he got back with the woman, and like at the Christmas concert, because she was helping the kids perform. And they did like this Von Trapp thing. Like it was just gonna be the daughter performing, and then the other, like the son and stuff, hopped in. Nicholas, what are you doing? He just climbed the back of the office chair. Hi. You know how, like, narrow the backs of, like, roller chairs are. I got a blanket over it to protect it from the cats, and because also I don't like to sit on them, you know, bare, because I know people sit in them, like, naked and stuff.
I rule all the lands of ice and snow.
Can't skate through him this time. Oh shit, I can skate through him this time. Where the fuck is his hitbox? If I'm... But yeah, so, she got a bunch of gifts for the kids, and he decided he was gonna stay there, and, like, you know, and for some reason there was like this heart charm necklace that she had that was like, you know, throwing in that this significant thing that her parents had got her, and she got like the daughter, like, that they had got her like so that she could fiddle with it when she was like lost in thought, so she could like ground herself and whatnot. Like that was thrown in for convoluted reasons. So they he decided he was gonna put down roots for the kids, and but they got into a fight like partway because he told her like he liked being with her, and that when he was with her he thought that one day, someday in the future he might be able to love again, and she was mad. I can't remember where that happened. I got one or two more days. But yeah, like they're convoluted because they're just like.
A wise man can hear profit.
So yeah, I watched like a bunch of them today. I only paid attention to some because, like, I got watching it and I was like, you know, just how fucking like so much stuff they were throwing into it, like. The library one, like, it wasn't just that she was a librarian, like, you know, she had to have, like, this elf ornament thing, and then the contractor guy with, like, parent issues, and the dying best friend that adopting the kids and having to, like, renovate her house, and, like, choose between her dreams and everything. It's just, like... Like, we don't have TV, so I haven't watched stuff like that. I used to watch, the Harlequin ones that they used to show on CBC sometimes, where it was, like, this thing, like, where this woman was, like, this long-lost, granddaughter, because they had, like, this music box, and, like, she traveled all over the world, and it turned out she was, like, royalty or whatnot, or, like, someone that was, like... It like, oh god, like a chase on like the Venice canals or stuff, like those things. I used to watch those some.
have winter items for a bargain.
And I won't forget my dilithium. But yeah, so I watched those, a few of those today. Instead of like doing anything else, like, cause it was just how fucking convoluted they were. I was also kind of hoping to get one of the queer ones that they advertised in like the lineup, but
I have winter items for a bargain.
the writer one came up again, so that's when I switched it. Yeah, this is that was me rambling about Lifetime movies I watched today. Now I'm gonna go to sleep, and I'll get up hopefully earlier than I did today, and do my Christmas cards I didn't work on.